They didn't have everything their own way on a different night. It might have been a little bit different. Chelsea 3, Aston Villa 0.
We feel now with the quality of the squad that we've got, that we can come to Chelsea and get on the front foot and go and try and play in their half.
Ings on the volley with a stunning finish. It is one of their goals of the season so far.
Everton join Manchester United, Chelsea and Liverpool on 10 points now at the top of the Premier League.
Now it's just the beginning, so we have to keep going. If we can improve every player 5%, the team will be much better.
Adelaide Doucouré fires home a magnificent goal.
We expected it last year, something special to happen. It didn't. So is it just that almost that year delay for Everton?
And our friends on Talksport and Talk Radio, I'm excited. I'm sure you're excited because it's back tomorrow. It's Game Day Live. It starts at 12:30. Wolves versus Brentford exclusively on Talksport. Then we've got the small matter of Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. And the other big game tomorrow for us is at 5:30, again exclusively on Talksport. Aston Villa versus Everton. And to talk about that particular clash tomorrow, delighted to welcome to the station at the Talk Radio, Chris Budd from the Villa Perspective from the My Old Man Said podcast, and Dave Johnston from Falcon Blues TV, an Everton fan, of course. Good morning, Chris. And good morning, Dave. Thanks for doing this for us.
Good morning.
Guys.
How you doing?
Thanks for having us on.
Very well indeed. Dave, let me start with you, because actually you're flying high at the moment. 4 games in, 10 points. So you're in the top 4. You're joint first, effectively. Are you optimistic about the season looking ahead, Dave?
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, I'll take this. I'll look at it from last season's perspective as well. We were in a similar situation. You know, we were getting results. We were scoring for fun. And, you know, we're in a similar situation now. And, I think even then we were getting optimistic about how the season was going to pan out. And it's early doors, but yeah, I'm happy with the way things are at the moment. Really, really am.
And one of the problems last season seemed to be your defence, particularly at Goodison Park.
Yeah, and I think it's still really happening at the moment. We're still conceding silly goals. You know, but our problem last season was when we conceded a silly goal, we conceded another as well. We weren't just conceding one; we were conceding more than one in games, and that was setting us back. And then because of that, we were chasing the game all the time, and that just typified Everton at home last season. You know, if we go a goal down, we weren't coming back from it. And Evertonians knew it the way we were playing, that there was no chance of us coming back from the game. We had to take the game to anyone who was playing, as we had to get in the front foot first, and it just didn't work for us at all. But it just did away from home, which was bizarre. It was just such a strange season for us last year.
Very strange. That was Dave Johnston there from Falcon Blues TV. More from Dave in a moment. Let's welcome to the show Chris Budd from My Old Man Said, the Aston Villa podcast, available from all good podcast providers. Chris, wasn't that long ago you were lucky to stay up in the Premier League. You're 12th at the moment. How are you looking? How are you thinking Villa are shaping up for this season?
It's really hard to gauge, obviously, because we had such a fragmented, pre-season. We've had an international break where 2 players will only be arriving back. I think it's Saturday morning. They've rumoured they'll only be allowed out of quarantine, which is just a farce. We've had injuries. We've had about, I think, 2 or 3 pre-season games. The manager was out with quarantine. We had someone who I won't name leave the club. It's just been a really fragmented start to the season, but with all these new guys, I think most people outside of the Villaverse have looked at it and thought, well, they've done really good business. If and when it clicks, we'll have a really good side, and we've seen little bits of that. We had the Ings overhead kick against Newcastle and little moments here and there, and I think Saturday's game is certainly the one where I'll judge where we're at for the first time, because it's probably the first time we've had a couple of weeks on the training ground with most of the new signings. We've got Leon Bailey, who'll probably be let loose against them, who is scary quick. And then obviously it's the thing of wondering how the Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins combination is going to work.
And you're right, the 2 Emilianos, Martinez and Buendia, are coming back after trying to keep fit in Croatia. That has been an absolutely bizarre state of affairs. That can't have helped.
It's been farcical from all sides. I mean, I hope that lessons have been learned, because I'm sure there's another international break in October, another one in November, and another one in March, I think. I mean, you can't be having that happen every other month, because it's just not sustainable, especially with players of that level. We're not, City or Chelsea with, 2-3 international players in every position. You can't afford to have players of that ilk out because they're sat in a hotel room twiddling their thumbs. It's just been a farce on the Argentinian side, a farce on the Brazilian side even more so. And frankly, Villa needed to be stronger and just say, you're not going.
Now, the last time you guys met, I think it was a goalless draw, Dave, but you're out. Both Calvert-Lewin and I think Fabian Delph's shoulder problems might keep him out. So what are your thoughts on tomorrow's game, the big game?
I think this is probably the test for Everton and for Benitez in general with this one. You know, with all respect to the other teams, these are teams that Everton should be beating. You know, the games we've won so far, Brighton, Southampton, and the other day at which we played the other day. Oh man, that's a blur. It's too late for me.
Burnley, I think it was, wasn't it?
Burnley, goodness me, 3-1 Burnley. Yeah, so you know, we're not playing anyone of note really, and again, that's with all due respect to the other teams. But I think Villa will be our biggest test. I mean, I could stick my house on Danny Ings scoring against us because he does it for fun. You know,
and are you relieved that the person, he who must not be named, the Voldemort of Aston Villa, isn't turning out for them tomorrow, Jack Grealish?
Definitely. I think you know, you saw from when he was playing for Villa, he made that midfield tick. You know, he's quick on the ball. He gets a lot of fouls, and you know, he just keeps that team going. So but I also look at who they brought in. You know, Everton were interested in Leon Bailey for a long time. And he reminds me like the kind of play that we just brought in Damari Gray. You know, quick forward play. He wants to make things happen, keep the ball moving as fast as he can, and can score goals. You know, he did that in the Dutch leagues, and I know he would be capable of doing it for Villa. I think the two main threats that we're going to have to worry about is Danny Ings as usual, no matter who he plays for, Liverpool, Southampton, and Leon Bailey. I think they're going to be the ones that we're going to have to make sure that we're keeping them quiet all game.
And I think it's fairly certain they're going to be in the starting lineup, I would imagine. Chris, what would be a successful season? Talking to Chris Budd from the My Old Man Said Aston Villa podcast, what would be a successful season for Villa this season, would you say, Chris?
I think conservatively we should have been in the top 10 last year, bar our form falling off a cliff after sort of February, March. So we should have been a top 10 side last year. That
never helps. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. That never helps, does it? When you suddenly kind of lose momentum.
Yeah, I think outside of just the league position, I think the minimum should be a top 10 finish. I'd like to be in and around the top 8. Anything on top of that, it's kind of a big question mark at the moment because nobody really knows, where. I think Villa and Everton will actually end up being quite close to each other. Like last season, they're kind of both very similar sides, probably similar-ish expectations. I think the main one as well, to be honest, outside of just the league position, will be Villa actually showing that they're more of an all-round team, and I think we've got a much more of a team this year, and our squad depth has improved massively. You look at our bench now, and we've got options coming off the bench, which last season, certainly the year before, we just didn't have.
And would you have higher aspirations than top 8 this time around, Dave? What are your thoughts on that? What would be a big successful season for Everton this time around?
I think this time we've got to go all out for a trophy. I think in Everton's case, it's just been far too long that we've been waiting, for League Cup, FA Cup, anything. At the moment, I'd sacrifice a top 6 finish for a
silverware. Yeah,
I'd probably agree. To be honest, I'd probably agree at Villa Park as well.
Listen, I'd agree as well. And I'm a West Ham fan. We want to win something, don't we? There's not enough to go round. And let me ask you about your next game after this one, Chris. Next up, you've got Manchester United. Now they're going to be soundly beaten Sunday by West Ham, so they'll be in the mood for vengeance against the Claret and Blues. What are your thoughts on that game? That's going to be a big game at Old Trafford.
I mean, our record against United is about as bad as Everton's against Liverpool. So if you're a gambling man, you'd put your house on that a Man United win. I think I'd see it as a free hit. You go there with the way they're playing, with the sort of the Ronaldo factor and some of the new signings they've brought in. I think you just go there and be brave and have a good go. There's no point in sort of sitting back and waiting for them to slap you around. There's no point. It's a bit like when we went to Stamford Bridge, last time out.
Sure.
We put in a really good performance. We missed our chances and we're made to pay for them, but we actually put in a really positive performance. I think as long as you come away from Man U having competed, I don't really judge Villa's season too much on going to Old Trafford, the Etihad, etc. It's more beating the teams around us and not throwing points away against teams we shouldn't, which we did last year.
Absolutely. Now, the next game for Everton, Dave, is Norwich. You've got Man United after that, but you've got to expect something from a game at home against Norwich, surely.
Definitely. I mean, I think we've got Villa on
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and then we've got QPR on Tuesday in the third round of the Cup. So there's 2 games there that we've got a chance to continue the momentum and build the confidence that takes us back into Norwich at home as well. And Everton's been, Goodison's been bouncing the last 2 home games. It's been a while since we've been in there, so it's great to have all the fans back. And I think we're almost giving the players that push at home, which we lacked so much last season. And I think if we can go into Norwich and we can come away with a win of that one, and then that takes us into United as well the following week away.
And then, of course, you're going to be thrashed at home by West Ham. But, you can't have everything, can you? What's your prediction for tomorrow, Dave? What's your prediction for tomorrow? How do you think it's going to play out?
1-1. I think it's going to be one of those games. It's going to be really tight between both teams. Both teams have got out to make a name for themselves for this season, because we look at the teams that have pushed on. Leicester, and then but then we got teams like Arsenal who have fallen behind.
Yeah.
So it's the opportunity for Everton and Villa to get ahead of the pack and to get to try and cement a space above Arsenal and keep Arsenal at arm's length. So I think I will be happy with the draw.
All right, okay. He's happy with the draw. How about you, Chris? Talking to Chris Budd as well from the My Old Man Said Villa podcast. What do you reckon? Your predictions for tomorrow, Chris? Finally.
I hope it's a better game than the game at Villa Park last year. Jeez, that was one of the worst games of football of the season, wasn't it? I think we've got it in us to nick a 1-0.
Okay.
Maybe 2-1.
But
I think Villa it'll be good, because I think actually both teams will go for it.
Brilliant stuff. And we've got full commentary and coverage exclusively on the radio on Talksport. At 5:30, of course, is the kickoff. Make sure you've downloaded the Talksport app. Get the Talk Radio app as well. And you don't need to miss a thing. And it's free, gratis, and for nothing. So why wouldn't you? Talking there to Chris Budd, Aston Villa fan from the My Old Man Said podcast, available from all good podcast providers. And also Dave Johnston from Falcon Blues TV. Where can we find that, Dave?
We are on YouTube under Falcon Blues TV.
Brilliant. Guys, you've been great fun. Thank you very much indeed. I will say good luck for the rest of the season, but I'll be lying. That was Chris Budd and Dave Johnston there. Villa versus Everton tomorrow at 5:30 on the Talksport Network.